Hello and welcome to my place, Dr. Jackie. This first session, I would like to be an introduction to myself and to my topic, dissociative identity disorder. But before I do that, I want to preface it with the fact that I started thinking about doing this channel back in June of last year, and it's taken me this long to finally get the first video out. One of the reasons for that is the fact that much of what I will be sharing with my journey of DID, discovery and recovery, even my husband didn't know, and I'm sure most of my family and friends are unaware of the things that I've gone through. But I'm doing this because I feel like it'll be an opportunity to help somebody else who is struggling or wants to know a little bit more about what they're going through. So, having said that, first of all, I am a sibling of 9 brothers and sisters. I have, my mother raised 8 of us as my sister died in the hospital when she was 2 weeks old before she even came home. And after me, there were 6 years between myself and the rest of the kids. So I don't know what that says about me. But anyway, my dad was in the service, and he always referred to us as his first and second family because of the 6-year difference. But being in the service, we did a lot of traveling. I spent my 6th birthday in Hawaii. We stayed as little as 6 months in one place, and that was the place just before my dad retired. And the grass hadn't even been planted yet. It was so new. From there, we went to Stockton. Now, the nice thing about going to Stockton was the fact that I was able to spend all 4 years of my high school days and graduate in one place, unlike my childhood. So on my graduation, I graduated on the 15th of June, 3 days after I turned 18. And on the 17th of June, I was married and moved to the Bay Area, where my husband and I raised 5 children, all in the same vicinity, unlike my childhood. So from those 5 children, we have 15 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. I have been a massage therapist for over 30 years now. I divorced my husband after 20 years of marriage, knowing that that was a thing that I needed to do. And I was single for 13 and a half years. During that time, I discovered and was diagnosed with multiple personality disorder, which today is known as dissociative identity disorder. We'll talk more about that later. Well, after being single for 13 and a half years, I was introduced to my second husband as a blind date from a friend of mine. We met December the 10th and were married June 17th of 2000. Now, that was the same date that I married my first husband. Yes, I know. And the interesting thing about that is I told my husband I couldn't marry him on the 17th because that was the availability of the building we were looking at. He said, "Why not?" And I said, "Because I married my first husband on the 17th. And he says, "Well, look at it this way. You had the right date, just the wrong man." So we got married on the 17th of June. We were married for 22 years. I was introduced to my stepson when he was just 6 years old. I have an AA in business, a bachelor's and a master's in psychology. I have a doctorate in healthcare, health administration. I like working on puzzles working in my garden, and I love to travel, and I love spending time with my family. In the last 5 years, my mother passed. The father of my children passed. I had a heart valve replacement surgery. My husband of 22 years unexpectedly passed. I got my doctorate in health administration, and I had it. My oldest grandson died. So I am acquainted with grief and working through grief and trying to understand how to live while not getting stuck in the loss, which we will probably talk about along the way. My dissertation was on the education that healthcare professionals received in working with dissociative identity disorder within the first 3 years of their education. The research showed that there was little to none given. DID, dissociative identity disorder, also known as multiple personality disorder, MPD, is a controversial disorder. There are some therapists and healthcare professionals today who still don't believe that it's real. But I'm here to tell you that it is real, that it is curable, and the journey is tough. I mean, I can't even say it's hard. There are many times that I wanted to quit, but what would I do if I quit? So I want to be able to share some of the things that I went through that might help others who are going through DID, or if you're helping somebody who is, that you might have some kind of knowledge or understanding about dissociative identity disorder. I want to be a positive voice for DID to help others. DID is created due to extreme abuse, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, or sexual, or a combination of those. And it's usually happens consistently for a time. It's a difficult subject to talk about, but I hope to do it justice. I hope that you'll decide that you'd like to know more about my journey and return to hear how I got diagnosed, how I discovered DID, and what I went through in my journey. So if you have any interest or just curious about who I am and what I'm going to talk about, please join me again for my next session, which will be talking about specifically sharing my discovery of DID and my diagnosis and how it all got started. So until then, remember, you are enough, and don't let anyone tell you differently. Till next time.